Nikos Rentas here, mentorsapproach.com. Today's email comes from somebody who is going through this process of, I hate my 9 to 5. I want to get out, and I got this idea, and I want to quit. What do I do? Do I quit or not? And I'm going to give him some advice from my experiences. So here we go. Hi, Nikos. I've been working on an idea for the last several years. I work the 9 to 5, and which is really the 9 to 9 with overtime. I know that one. The rest of the time I have worked on my idea, and I finally believe I have what I need to make it work and launch right this time. Well, that's good. My family has been telling me to focus on my career, go back to school, and get a CMA and focus on finding somebody. I haven't dated anyone for over 2 years, and they think this is a waste of life. You haven't dated for 2 years? We got to talk about that. I now need to quit in order to launch this properly. My family is all over me, and I don't know what to do. What do you think? All right. Hold the fort. You haven't dated for 2 years? Like, dude, you need to date. You need people in your life. You need positive influences. You need structure that comes from the outside. You can't just go to work and then come home and do nothing. Why? Because there's no creativity. There is no creativity coming from sitting home and doing the same thing day in, day out. Okay? We become creative by being involved with other people. You need to go date. You need that outlet. Holy cow. That's my opinion anyways, but let me just say, whoever I talk to who hasn't dated in a while, and then they see me and I'm like, you need to go date, their life goes into like a actual good life after, because they're reconnecting with people. You need to do that, because here's the thing with your question, and you need to look at it from this perspective. You say you need to quit in order to launch this properly. Is this true? Is this reality? Now, I don't have your product. You'd have to sit on a coach call, or you'd have to get in the program and really hammer out what you're doing with your idea so we can figure out, do you really need to do that? In my opinion, from the brief stuff that you've written, you don't need to quit your job. Okay. However, the psyche has trained you to want to quit the job. However, at the whole thing, why, you're looking at it from, why are you asking me? This is what you really need to address. And at the beginning of this, I said, look at this fear base. Like you're saying that you finally have this right. If you really had this right and it's working, you would quit your job and not ask anybody. You would go in all and just do it, because you don't need to worry about anything. There's no fear then. But the question begs, are you doing it right? And it's going through your head. Why are you asking me? Because I've done this. I took the risks. I jumped out. I don't like the 9 to 5. I'll have a whole video about the 9 to 5. I got a whole bunch of people emailing me about the 9 to 5. The question really is that, why? Why are you asking me? Now, in my opinion, I think this is all fear-based. I think you're not 100% sure on what direction you're going to take. You're not 100% sure if this direction will work. I think your planning is flawed. I think you need to go back to the drawing board and get that level of comfort, that level of security in your idea to an all-time high where you don't have to ask me this question, okay? And I don't know, I'm pointing at the screen, but I don't know why. And once you do that, this question will be easy to answer. Why? Because you're going to be able to break down your idea. You're going to be able to move it. This goes for anybody. When we have a product or service, we're able to take this and break it down, right? So my book, I get people to go through your idea, get a strategy, break down the streams of income, okay? Find a niche market, go after that niche market. And if you're doing that route, okay, the only reason you would need to quit everything is because you need to allocate a full day's work on this and not be working. That being said, you wouldn't be making money until one of these niches picked up and you started making money. So if you focused on something and you started making money there, then you're good. Now you can start expanding and making more money. That's the reality, okay? when we're looking at it from a perspective, I just need to quit so I can do this. Well, like I know where you're getting at, because there's so much to do and you need to finish. How do we take that 9 to 5 out of play, that I need to quit my job and make your product and service work? That's what we need to figure out. Then this question becomes easy. You don't have to worry. Your parents are your parents. I've said this a million times. Your parents want the best for you, and in their mind, their best is you getting your CMA so you can get more money in what you're doing, so you can start dating, treat a girl nicely, and then you guys can have babies, and then they can go on to retirement taking care of the babies while they grow, and then when they die, they'll be like, I did my job, and now it's your turn to do the same thing with your kids. I've taught you well. Okay? Meanwhile, you're going, well, fuck the 9 to 5. I don't want to do the fucking 9 to 5. I hate it. I just hate it, and I want my product to work, and I can't get it to work. What do I do? And then you go and you ask me, well, what do you think I should do? What I think you should do, go through the book, go get into the program. Let's structure you properly so you can make this decision on your own. It may be that you can't get out of the 9 to 5 yet. It may be that you're going to have to stop saying no to overtime. It may be that you need to change jobs so it's flexible. You get your program working so that you can start you get your project working so it's bringing in money to the point where you don't need to work. Or we actually come up with a plan where you can get funding so you get paid so you can get moving in the right direction. Okay? The investment route always works, but now the question is, how much debt do you want to put yourself in? And if you do find an investor, how much money do you want to lose from that whole scenario of the percentages? It comes to a game of what do we want and what do we need versus what are we allowed to give up and what are we willing to give up. And you need to make these decisions, and this is all a fear-based question. This is all based on your internal fears of quitting your job, okay? And what are my parents going to think? And what if it doesn't work? Then what are my parents going to say? And then what happens when I lose more time? And blah, 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 blah. I've been there. I know how you feel. The best case scenario for you to succeed in this is to do what I just talked about. So take some time, walk through what you're doing, what you've done, and where you want to be. How would it be the best picture in your head to jump into this thing? And then your parents, once they see money coming in and they see it's working, your parents will be fine with you. I know from what you've described, I know your personality, and I know what your parents' personalities would be like. So I'm really sitting there going in my head, they really need to see this. So if you did see that cash flow coming in a bit, they would see it and then they say, you know what, we support you, but don't expect support for them. They're going to be pissed off. You're leaving a great job because if you're going for the CMA, then clearly you have a career job that's paying you good. And that's that. If you're living at home with them, well, that's going to be even harder for you to do this. If you're living on your own, it's going to be hard because they're going to question how you're going to pay your bills. You need to have all your bills paid, okay, for the year. How do we do that? And then look at the cash flow. So take a second, go on my Facebook group, sign up, and ask questions, and do download Ideas to Profits, the blueprint. Go through it and really ask yourself, what am I doing? How can I make it better? And how does this all fit in with my growth? Please subscribe and please ask questions. Please, please, please. I want to see everybody succeed. Nico's Rentas, mentorsapproach.com.